Okay, Akram, I'm being told that you have a guest with you, in fact, that you wanted to interview as well. So you can go ahead and interview that guest.
Well, we talked about the different atrocities and the great risk that Palestinians are exposed to. We talked about the unleashed power that is used against the Palestinians. And I met Dr. Erik Fosse. Dr. Erik was there in Gaza back in 2008, 2012, and he was in Gaza last May, and he's now with us. We had a little bit of a conversation about the severity of the injuries and the possible cause of the severity of those injuries, and I think he has some findings to share with us and with the viewers about what's happening in Gaza. Doctor, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We had a little bit of a conversation about the weapons that might be used in the Gaza Strip and whether they are internationally banned or not. Tell us about your initial findings, please.
Yes, we actually see three types of injuries. The majority are patients that have been inside houses that have been bombed. And this is actually also something we didn't see so much during the 2009 war, that they obviously target people's home during night. Last night we had large families coming in. We had more than 30 patients coming in at one time from houses that had been bombed. And these patients, of course, they are hit by the explosive or by pieces of the building. Then, of course, we also see people injured from anti-personnel weapons that are directed towards killing people. We see conventional anti-personnel weapons. They are typically hit by a number of shrapnels and have multiple wounds. And we also see, like we did in 2009, victims of these so-called dime bombs, the dense inert metal explosives. These are small, lightweight bombs dropped from the drones. They are highly accurate, and they explode on the ground, and the patient is hit by kind of a metal vapor that, in a way, tear away their lower body. Very few of these patients survive, and if they survive, only half the man is left, actually.
Well, you have been watching that in the surgery rooms and also in the ICU department. So how many children and women and elderly people you saw there? And what is your impression about the nature of the injuries in there?
Yeah.
Are they militants? Do you think they are militants? How many older and young men you saw there?
No, there's about 30% of the injured, like during the war in 2009, they are children. And most of the people that come here, they are civilians. They are old people, or of course some of them are middle-aged men, but they are killed in their homes, not in a battle. And we don't know what their profession is. So in my opinion, all the patients I see here are civilians so far.
From your own humanitarian perspective, how did you feel seeing those injuries and their severity?
This is, there are several levels of tragedy here put on top of each other. One thing is, of course, an injured person that loses the limbs. I mean, to survive here, people in Gaza have very little future anyway, and to lose your legs, you have no future. You cannot sustain a family. So that's a tragedy in itself. Then, of course, you have the problem of families being torn apart. We have one child lying here. She lost all her family, both her parents and all her brothers and sisters. We have one man that lost all his family while he was out shopping. So the families are torn apart and they suffer great losses. So we also have a lot of grieving people coming here. And it's really heartbreaking to watch. And then it's also the general condition of the people in Gaza at the moment, because they have been under siege now since 2007. This was getting much more grave after the coup in Egypt, where they closed the tunnels, which actually kept people alive. So now they have no fuel for cooking, for heating, for light. They are depleted of food. They are depleted of drugs. The prices go up, and most of them are now unemployed because, as the country is blocked, most companies are bankrupt. So the general condition before they even are attacked is is very serious. And I think you mentioned that the people were cheering during the rockets against Tel Aviv, even if they know that they are going to be, and that is quite true. People were sitting around the television here cheering, and I think that's because they have no longer anything to lose. They will be killed slowly by starvation,
or quickly by the airstrikes.
Or quickly by the strikes. So that's their choice. They choose the latter.
Having met the professionals, the physicians in the Al-Shifa hospital, which is the largest medical center in the Gaza Strip, and having been in the surgery rooms in the different wards, how do you think the health system is coping, and do you think it can go on for a very long time in light of this very great lack and loss?
First of all, I would say, unfortunately, the surgeons in Al-Shifa are probably the most experienced trauma surgeons in the world. They have faced these situations now repeatedly. I mean, it's not only the large wars. They have this type of injuries daily, weekly, every year. So they are very experienced, and they really treat, I'm very impressed by working with them. But we have problem of getting in spare parts for advanced technology. We are losing the stocks of disposables and essential drugs. So it's hard to say, you know, what they're going to do here probably is to prioritize Shifa, and they will close down other hospitals. So first it's the patients with the chronic diseases that will suffer, because they have no resources to treat them. But after a while, even we will not be able to manage the patients coming in. So this has to stop.
And how about people with acute injuries, like people coming with amputations, people coming with serious injuries in need for life support, and in need also for medications and disposables? Do you think so far the health system can cope, and for how long?
We cope now, but you know, we haven't had the real mass casualty situations yet. We had our first minor mass casualty situation last night, but I'm expecting that this will develop more or less like in 2009, and then we will see events where we have maybe 70 patients coming at once, and I really fear for that. I'm not sure we can cope.
We all fear for that. So this is the image from the Gaza city, the increased number of casualties, a health system that is struggling to provide the very needed medical assistance to the people, and also a courageous medical crews that are struggling to survive and to help other people survive. Back to studio now.
Okay, Akram, thanks very much for that. And of course, we do appreciate the dear doctor's comments as well.